Thank you, Madam Chair. Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I'm also honored to have been invited to join in these deliberations at the third Review Conference on Disaster and Risk Reduction. It is a pleasure, too, to join you in this beautiful city and to have been welcomed with such great hospitality. We in Kenya attach great importance to the effective management and reductions of disasters and risks. All of us, I believe, have experiences to share about devastations caused by disasters. Our nations remain exposed to earthquakes, hurricanes, tsunamis, droughts, floods, and extreme temperature, amongst other things. These hazards have catastrophic consequences. Throughout the world, they have maimed, injured, displaced, or killed millions, and investments worth billions have been destroyed, livelihoods have been shattered, and where resilience is low, poverty has crept back, and economies have been severely disrupted. We know that a greater number of calamities occur due to natural causes. We cannot change their time, place, frequency, or magnitude, but certainly we can prepare and minimize their impacts. And because we can, I am here to show solidarity with you and with all the peoples of the world. I call upon the scaling up of existing efforts and actions at all levels to combat disasters and mitigate risks. 10 years ago, we adopted the Hyogo Framework for Action. We committed to substantial reduction of disaster losses in lives and in the social, economic, and environmental assets of communities and countries. The framework has since been useful in creating global and regional mechanisms for greater cooperation and collaboration. It has also inspired new policies and strategies while encouraging greater political awareness and momentum for disasters and risk reduction. Now, these are important, however insufficient achievements. There is room for us to do more. This is because disaster remains a major threat to our sustainable development. They have not only undermined gains made, but have also reversed some. Where poverty is high and adaptive capability is low, vulnerability and helplessness have remained stubbornly high. Women and children and persons with disabilities are at even greater risk. Africa is a clear example in this case. Extreme weather events such as droughts and floods have become a leading challenge to sustainable development. In Kenya and the Horn of Africa region, persistent droughts cause food insecurity, conflicts over dwindling water resources, and general economic instability. Climate change has further worsened the situation, as it is one of many drivers of the frequency and magnitude of such hazards. I speak about these unwanted experiences in hope that together we can reduce and eventually end all these worrisome trends. I am convinced that through our collective efforts, we can effectively combat disasters and cultivate resilience, especially among the poor. We can reduce injuries, deaths, and damage to property, and our call is to support those affected to make them resilient. I believe that this is possible because available scientific information and knowledge on disasters and risk reduction is both reliable and advanced. However, our main challenge is mobilizing effective means of implementation. Our insufficient and unstable financing, the dearth of appropriate technologies, and the lack of capacity remains the barrier to preparedness. This is particularly true of developing countries, in particular African states, small island developing states, and the least developing countries. We need now to come together and to close the implementation gap. We have to scale up on investments and strengthen relevant national institutions responsible for disaster preparedness and management. At the global level, we have to renew our political commitment and revitalize international cooperation and partnership for disaster and risk reduction. We must also enhance international cooperation in information gathering, early warning, research, and development. As you are aware, this September, we will be adopting a new Universal Development Agenda to be implemented in the succeeding years. The intergovernmental process that will govern this agenda are on course. This is our opportunity to determine their shape. Kenya strongly supports a set of global, sustainable development goals that not only recognize disaster and risk reduction as important, but also emphasizes resilience building as an integral part of sustainability. Let me close by reiterating that disaster and risk management are vital in tackling poverty and inequalities and in the protection of our environment. Going forward, the forthcoming international conferences on financing for development, the post-2015 summit, as well as the climate meeting, must respectively agree on ambitious and practical steps for financing of the SDGs, implementing the new agenda, and tackling climate change. Our success in fighting against poverty will be crucial in managing disasters and reducing risks. We therefore join hands with you to build a just, equitable, prosperous, stable, and resilient world for the present and future generations. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the future we all want. I thank you for your attention.
I thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya for his statement.